All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm here with a band that is relatively new to me. I know I definitely heard the name before, and I've seen some stuff on social media and things like that. But you really were sort of a new one for me, which is always nice because I mean I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of bands that come on here over and over again over the years, and those are great too. But it's always nice to sort of have fresh faces and voices on the show. So I think the best way to start this off is if the two of you who are here want to introduce yourselves, what you do in the band, and then maybe just a quick rundown of what the band's all about.
All right. I'll hand it to Draven since he's a senior member compared to myself. I'm
All right.
newer.
Hi, my name is Draven. I play bass and do vocals in the band.
All right. Yeah, I'm Joaquin. I recently joined probably back in like April of 2024 and I do like lead guitar. But this is definitely not that was my first introduction to these guys and the band, I will say that though.
Okay. And so how long has this actually been a project? Because I mean, obviously, it's 2025 now. You got at least a year there since you joined. Obviously, there's some time before that. What's sort of the history of this project?
Uh, Originally, the project was started up in 2018.
Oh,
Like, I want
wow.
to say the summer. Uh, we were under a different name at the time and playing a different kind of music, but we shifted over to what we do now, the crossover thrash type. It just fit more with what we wanted to do
Okay.
now.
And so obviously in that time frame, I mean, starting 2018 to now, you had a big chunk there during the pandemic, which obviously no one could play shows, no one could even get together to practice and stuff. Well, I guess when did the style change? Did that have anything to do with it? Like, did it change sort of after that happened, or were you already morphing to this crossover thrash thing beforehand?
We were already uh switching over, but then we didn't like see each other for like 2 years. I felt like so it took a lot longer to make the actual jump.
Sure, sure. And then I guess the reason we're talking today is because you have a new record coming out. By the time people hear this, it'll be imminent, or maybe it'll already be out, depending on when they listen. Um, what can you tell me about the album? I mean, I know you have a few. I was listening on Bandcamp today. You got a few that are already out. This is sort of the next step for you. Yeah. What are the details about the record?
So the new EP, Where Weakness Dies, it's just 4 tracks, short and simple. Uh, I think uh, after our first release, this is uh, more of the same, but I think we really wanted to try to be more harder. We tried to lean into a lot of our hardcore influences that we gained uh, over like the years of writing these songs. Yeah.
How does that happen? I mean, was it just like people were listening to more hardcore and that kind of glommed itself onto the sound, or was that something deliberate that you tried to do to change the tone of it?
So it's harder to find. It was for me personally. It was harder to find uh crossover thrash bands that weren't power trip to take inspiration from, and I didn't want to dilute all my sound and try to sound like them all the time. So I
Sure.
needed something else to try and push the boundaries a bit. So I took a deeper dive into what other people around us were listening to find some more inspiration.
So what were some of the bands I guess that provided that inspiration? Like what I mean, who do you point to maybe as a group or individually as influences that maybe have are reflected on these new songs?
Uh, I've been listening to a lot of Nails. Uh, that's pretty evident on one of the songs. Uh, Another band called Spirit World I've been listening to a lot. Do a lot of interesting things that I had never thought of. So uh, those two mainly.
Sure, sure. And is that I mean, are there bands that all of you agree on? I mean, or are you all radically different as far as what you listen to?
No, I'd say those two are pretty uh, unanimous between the members of the band of people we like.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not really actually a big fan of Nails, but I agree with the Spirit World.
Okay,
I'm a
all
big
right.
fan.
Well, I guess maybe since you're the new guy in the band, right? What were you already a fan before? Like, did you already know their music before you joined?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I've known these guys probably dating back to yeah, like 2018 for sure. Like the two members who I'll just give a quick shout. Yeah, the two members who can't be or that unfortunately couldn't make it is another member, Carlos Pau. He the other guitar player. He they were originally a three-piece, so he was also the main riffer and the main like lead writer and everything. And yeah, I knew him through another program that he was playing at called School of Rock. That's like I
Okay.
guess where we both sort of got our start in music, and a lot of us in the music scene, like hardcore scene and whatnot, I actually met through that program and as like teenagers in high school, and then like as like adults, like took it to like a more like professional level, I guess you could say. And yeah, I saw them perform live. I guess the first time would be School Rock did these things called like open mic nights at the I don't know if you remember the venue. It was called the Cavern Club where the Alisman Tapos
Yeah,
is now.
the Cavern.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so yeah, it was a nice little venue in like the basement, like pretty intimate, nice vibes in there and whatnot. And yeah, I was playing there with my own project at the time and with friends like more my age, and then they were Carlos. He was in the adult band program, I guess, at the time, and I guess he had met Draven and our drummer Zach, and yeah, they performed. I guess I saw them play like a Power Trip cover, which was a band I definitely was a fan of at the time, and that was a band I was also planning on covering, and
Okay.
yeah, I definitely really enjoyed it, and I never really at the time like they did another gig with a band. I think you might have had. Did you have Eulogist on the show by
I did.
chance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
have both
yeah,
their tape too. Great band. Yeah.
yeah, they were fantastic. So those two members, Justin and John, were actually my like music teachers growing up. I'm still like really good friends with them, Justin especially. And yeah, they so Trauma Shot back when they were called their old name, which we'll just not mention just because it's like in the past. That's the old name. We weren't as big of a fan of it, but yeah, they were playing at that show, opening up for Eulogist and whatnot. And yeah, I definitely really enjoy the music like a lot, and I definitely at that concert I never would have like imagined like because I was only 15 probably at that show. And like I never would have thought that like this many years later, like 6 years down the line, 5 years, that I would end up joining the band and whatnot. So yeah, that was definitely an interesting thing. And I always knew like we all shared similar like musical tastes with like all, we definitely all have our own unique favorites like that each of us probably are different with, but like at the end of the day, we all have the same sort of idea, and which I think sort of draws like the chemistry of the band and why this band's sort of been such a drive to stay together and like especially persevere through the pandemic and
Yeah.
everything. Like 6 years as a band is definitely a long time, or longer probably even. I'm not sure the exact amount of time in years, but yeah, that alone is says a lot about everybody getting along and whatnot. And I could definitely see it another 6 years, 10 years with this band and everything, just
Cool.
based on everybody. Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't want to dwell on the School of Rock stuff, but I mean, I'm quite a bit older than you guys, I think. And when the School of Rock came out, I thought it's a very cool idea, and I thought it was something with little kids, which I mean, it is. A lot of like people are super
Oh
young,
yeah,
and so
definitely.
now that they're graduating and like they're playing in adult bands, it's very cool. I mean, obviously that was going to happen eventually, but I think this is the first time I've sort of realized that. Oh wait, some of these kids who started out there now they're actually doing their own thing, which is it's very cool.
Yeah, for definitely. Yeah, it definitely, yeah, the main selling point definitely is the younger kids. Like they accept you as low young as like 3, they have a program, but
Well,
yeah, they do have a certain program for adults, for people who say they're like, I never got to play an instrument. It would be cool if I could play on stage, and you pay a set amount of money a month and they give you that opportunity. So that's a really nice service they offer for sure.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So, with the EP, why an EP? And the reason I ask this is because we're in an era now where the way music is consumed is totally different than it was even 15 years ago, and there's sort of no set way to put out a record now, right? I mean, people are doing physical copies still. Some people are doing it strictly online. Some people are doing only singles, full length EP. What was the reason behind doing sort of a shorter project this time?
Plain and simple, it takes us a long time to write songs.
It's fair. That's
Uh,
fair. Yeah.
I wrote a majority of three of the songs, and I have like no formal music education, so it takes me forever to finally latch onto something I think is actually good.
Okay.
Uh, that's particularly why I had ambitions of writing more songs, but that's as many as I could get out.
Fair enough. Is that usually, are you like the main songwriter in the band too, or is there a lot of collaboration between the members?
So the process usually I come to the band with what I believe to be an almost realized song. Uh, and then I let Carlos and Zach figure out stuff that just doesn't like mesh together, like transitions. And I let Zach do all the drums because I don't know anything about drumming. uh, and they help structure it out better, so it's a little more interesting. Like I just kind of like bring like bare bones. I think this is a song, or it could be a song, and then we work from there.
Cool, cool. And so, what for people who know your band, people who've heard your band before, whether it was in 2018 or last week or whatever. I mean, what can they expect differently on these songs? I mean, with this EP, what has changed, if anything, sonically, as far as sort of just the overall sound of the group?
Uh, Speed. Two of the
Okay.
songs are a lot faster. I noticed we were falling into the trap of staying around the same BPM for all of our songs, and that was not it's not good because it's just the same. This, if you come to see us, it's just the same. It feels like the same thing is happening for our entire set.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like you got one
Uh,
song that you're just playing over and over. Yeah, for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
and I wanted to help break it up a bit. So a lot of these songs were designed to help alleviate that, or what I think was starting to become a problem.
Okay, okay. And is that something you'd always sort of wanted to do too? Is speed up the songs or what?
Yes, we initially tried and we couldn't figure it out. But I feel like after trying for a bit, we feel comfortable uh, working in that direction.
Sure.
It was tricky trying to write a faster tempo song and keep it interesting and not fall into a trap of writing just like I don't know, a really generic song that just wouldn't move people.
Right. Well, and is that what you're looking for when you have a song that sort of is going to work? Is the idea that it's going to move people? Is that sort of the when I guess maybe a better way to word that is when do you know when a song is ready? Because you sort of talked about the process of writing these songs, and you come with the bare bones, bring it to the group. But at what point are you sort of collectively decide that this song is gonna be a song that sticks around?
Um, Normally we know that when we're jamming on it, and like the three of us kind of get this like stupid grin, and like you just like impulsively start dancing to it, and then we know like okay, we got something, we're cooking here.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No, that makes sense for sure. So,
yeah.
Winnipeg has obviously, and I'm sure you know very well, has a very extremely big and deep and a lot of history as far as heavy music in general, whether it's punk, whether it's hardcore, whether it's any form of metal. I mean, it's a big thing here. It's almost like rivaling sort of country and bluegrass and blues and stuff for Winnipeg. It's sort of the two main the sections of music almost. And so, do you have sort of an idea of at this point, having been a band for a while, of where you fit in within the local music scene? I mean, like you said, you have this sort of more hardcore influence now. Does that change things about sort of where you place yourselves within the scene? I mean, because obviously you could play with metal bands, you could play with hardcore bands, you could play with punk bands, things like that. Like, do you have a place where you feel like you fit?
Uh, I feel like the underground hardcore scene is where we found our niche. I think that those are the shows that I want to play with. Those are a lot of the bands I also want to play with.
Yeah,
I think the people who help run that scene have been really good to us, and help promote the band, which I am forever thankful for.
Yeah, it seems
Uh,
like that's continually growing. Like I always see posters for shows, and it's like there's three new bands that just started last week, and so it's crazy. It's very cool to see.
yeah.
Is that sort of the community that you guys came up going to shows in, like as just music fans before you started your own bands, or are you from somewhere else musically?
I'm from like the most of the metal scene. That's where I started my first band, like doing shows with like Corey Thomas, Ninja Cat,
Okay,
with my other band, Cause of Death. We're like more death metal. And then yeah, the hardcore scene was something that was definitely there, but it recently got like a big boost back in like 2020, 2021, 2022 with the formation of like bands such as like Hopscotch Battle Scars and
I
whatnot,
love
which
that
are
band. Yeah, great band.
oh, they're great. Yeah, definitely a bunch of close friends of ours, uh, people I play with for years, like Jude from that band. He's like somebody I've known since childhood. So yeah,
Cool.
definitely great people and whatnot. And yeah, they definitely brought like the youth to the scene, started getting younger kids into the music and just keeping like all that heavy music and stuff alive and just bringing more culture and a safe space just to all the venues and the scene in general and encouraging good behavior. And it's just yeah, just really great to see the revival of a second scene. And it's like definitely would love just because we really test the balance. Like if you listen to our music, like the hardcore kids could get down to it, but we also at the same time could play at any type of Ninja Cat Park Theater metal gig with like thrash metal bands, like just because I feel like we're very versatile in style. Like there's two-step parts, there's fast circle pit parts, like all that sort of stuff it is. So that's the thing I love about our genre and whatnot. And yeah, we definitely plan to. The music's definitely not going to stop. We want. I definitely want to start pulling out my socks and help contribute to the next releases. Which definitely our big goal is yeah the next thing to definitely do a full length album, which already in the works because yeah I just think uh consistency and putting in the work for the music that's like the way to go, and then playing shows and whatnot. It's great. It's definitely very awesome that we get this opportunity.
For sure. You just mentioned a second ago about already in the works on new stuff. I mean, do you already have new songs that are sort of on their way to being part of another project?
Not recorded, but yeah, we're already starting yeah the writing process
Well, the
for
reason
that.
I ask that is I ask a lot of people this actually is I mean, do you feel that now that you have new stuff you're working on, and then this older but still also new stuff is about to come out, do you feel like you've already moved sort of in any way beyond the stuff that's on this EP? Like, has the band progressed even more with what you're working on now, or are you still sort of in the same mode?
I'd say it's probably a little too early to say. We definitely still have a lot of work to do. And yeah, I think it could go anywhere, especially if it's a full length. We could definitely expand the horizon for like many different styles of music within the genre throughout the album because we'll have a lot more space to do. So hopefully, like 10 to 13 songs or whatnot.
Yeah. What's the plan for this EP as far as releasing it? I mean, again, there's so many ways people put stuff out. Obviously, your stuff's online. I'm assuming this is just a digital release, or are you doing physicals as well?
I know several members have thought about making some sort of physical release to sell, but I am not interested in that personally.
Okay. Out of curiosity, why not? I mean, I only ask because I'm old and set in my ways, and I don't do streaming. I only listen pretty much to tapes and records and CDs. So I'm the complete opposite, view there. But what's your reason for wanting to just strictly go? Like, is it just the cost or something else?
Probably. Cost.
The cost, I'm like, I don't know. I don't really see the point of buying
Uh, we're also
like buying it.
we're also probably gonna save it for the full length because rather than only put in the money for four songs, it would make a lot more sense to put in the money for a lot of songs. And yeah, definitely in the future, like we will. It's just yeah, if we feel for an EP, definitely digital is more the appropriate route to go. But we
Sure.
definitely still are on the works with more merch designs. That's definitely our big thing. We've been very forward with making more merch, plenty of merch, and there's definitely a lot available. And yeah, there's more to come for sure for that.
Well, and I guess another reason I asked that too is because hardcore is always sort of, and I know you're not strictly a hardcore band, but hardcore has been traditionally one of those genres that's kept making tapes sort of nonstop, right? There hasn't been like a break. I mean, a lot of genres tapes back when I was a kid were the format, and then they stopped. And but hardcore and a lot of forms of metal as well just sort of kept going with that. So it's that's sort of what I was wondering. But it makes sense to save something like that for a full length.
Mhm.
When is the actual release date of this? I mean, if someone's listening to this before the EP comes out, what do they need to know? Where can they find it? How do they get it?
I guess March 22nd everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, all streaming platforms, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, uh, SoundCloud, probably everywhere. I'm not like it just
There's
I
a
don't
there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of
yeah,
them
I
for
don't even
sure.
remember half of them. There's but I know definitely the popular ones for sure.
And then, do you have anything coming up as far as shows, like in support of this record or anything like that?
Yeah, at the end of March, I believe March 29th or 28th.
29th.
29th. Yeah, March 29th. Yeah, we're playing with Eyes Front, a band coming from uh Calgary.
Yeah.
Calgary, yeah. Very great band.
Cool.
Um,
Where
and
is that
yeah,
show?
it's gonna be at the St. James Lanes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've been meaning to go to one of those shows. I keep seeing that they're doing shows there, and I love the idea of like at that kind of shitty basement bowling alley. It's a great idea. I live nearby too. I should probably try to
Oh,
go. I keep
yeah,
seeing the
definitely.
posters and being like, oh, I should go to this. And I never do, but it's very cool as a venue to have like kind of unusual stuff like that. I always liked those shows when I was younger
Oh,
too,
yeah, for
at
sure.
places like that.
Now the vibes are immaculate at that venue. I love it.
I bet. Yeah, yeah. How big is it? Like, how many people can you fit in there?
As many as we want, I guess. I don't even think, I'm
Okay,
not
how many
sure.
people is it safe to fit in there? I guess is maybe a better question.
I don't
Yeah.
even know if there's there probably is I don't know, like probably like at least 100.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty spacious room.
I've only been there for bowling when I was a kid, so like I don't remember. I haven't been there for show, but I'm definitely interested.
I'm not even sure if we're playing in the exact bowling alley. I think it's like a room next door to the
Oh,
bowling
okay,
alley.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
But either way, it's cool. It's cool that non-traditional venues like that. I always like to see them. If someone is hearing about you for the first time on the show and they want to check out more of your stuff, what's the best way to find you online and sort of follow about upcoming shows or upcoming releases and things like that?
I know our Instagram. Uh, that's our most updated form of social media. I know we have a Facebook page, but I don't know how often that's updated.
It just sort of link every time we post on Instagram, it will automatically post to our Facebook type of thing. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Instagram's the main spot though.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Cool, cool. And then people who are obviously listening to the audio version aren't going to see this, but they'll see the screenshot with your faces on it. What's with the Capitals and Leafs jerseys?
Uh,
Like it almost
I guess
it seems like it must be on purpose, right? The fact that you're both wearing those
we're just
particular hockey
hockey
jerseys.
fans,
I
honestly.
mean, I am too, but it's just those two teams in particular.
Capitals probably have always been my favorite team because I don't know, Alex Ovechkin's always been honestly one of my favorite players, and I was really happy when he won the Stanley Cup, and I believe they could win again this year. And yeah, I'm really excited for him to beat Wayne Gretzky's record because Wayne Gretzky's a traitor to this country.
Glad you said that. I agree
I
with you,
can't
but
believe you said that.
it's great. It's great.
No Wayne slander.
I will
Uh,
slander Wayne
that might be the clip I use when I promote this episode.
because
Shitting on Wayne.
he didn't wear a Canada jersey at the Canada game, and he's friends with Donald Trump, so
That's
he
right.
felt
Yeah.
embarrassed. So yeah, my favorite. I'm Alex Ovechkin for the win.
And then the Leafs, is that the same deal with you? Sort of a team that you've always followed, or I mean, I guess that's what a Matthews jersey, or
I like the Leafs. I made the mistake of cheering for them in 2018 when I moved to the city, and I was like, "Oh, hockey's pretty lit. I should pick a team." And then I was fooled. They looked good at the time, and they have not been good.
yeah, no,
I'm
no,
too deep though. I can't change.
yeah. Once you pick a team, you're stuck with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a really bizarre tangent, but okay. So the EP, what's the name? What's the title of the EP again, and what's the release date so people can check it out if they're hearing it when this comes out?
Where Weakness Dies, March 22nd, out everywhere.
Awesome.